Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. Josh Quinlan versus Trey Waters. Josh Quinlan is 6-0 as a pro, 6-0 as an amateur. All wins, I think, all together come by finish. I don't know if he's won a decision. If he did, it must have been as an amateur in a 9-minute fight. But he's a potent finisher. He's even got one other finish by knockout that was overturned to a no contest. That was on the Contender Series. He knocked out Logan Urban in no time, and then subsequently tested positive for fucking Dillashaw, so they overturned it. But he has since admitted to his mistake, and he's been welcomed back to the UFC. He came back and knocked out Jason Witt, which, say what you will about Jason Witt, he does have a weak fucking chin, and he did. He had the weakest chin in the UFC while he was still fighting. I think he has since retired. But despite him having a weak chin and despite steroid accusations and whatever, you can't deny that Quinlan knocked him out in beautiful fashion. It was just an aesthetically beautiful counter hook as Witt was stepping in, and Quinlan's got a few more of those. Just great timing altogether. Really good timing and powerful counters. He's a powerful guy. Again, you can say what you will about steroids and weak chins, but he's got the power. He's got the power. And he's not bad on the ground either. A good amount of his finishes come on the ground. 2 submissions, and also he's had a few TKOs on the ground as well. And they all come from him advancing to full mount or mount. The thing is, I don't think I've ever seen him land a takedown. He's been on top of his opponent like 5 different times, and I don't think any time he landed a takedown. A few times he caught kicks, or his kicks were caught. And one time he was taken down and kind of used a little momentum to reverse his opponent. One time the guy slipped on a banana peel. He doesn't have it in him to be the wrestler, I think. And that makes sense because he seems pretty damn comfortable striking. The thing is, in this one, he might be a little uncomfortable because he's dealing with a guy who's a lot bigger than him, a lot taller. Trey Waters has 5 inches of height and 5 inches of reach on Josh Quinlan, who's no midget. Trey Waters is 6'5", and Waters, he's making his debut. He's 7-1 as a pro. He recently won the LFA championship 2 weeks ago on April 14th. That's when he won the championship, knocking out Jalen Fuller in a comeback, a fight that he was being steadily outpointed in, and then he caught him with a big counter, a left hook, I believe. Might have been a right hand. I don't know. I watched the fight this morning. Either way, it came out of nowhere, and it was a beautiful finish. And that's kind of what you could say about his win over Benjamin Button, the one that he had right before the Jalen Fuller fight. Actually, it was before that was his loss to Gabriel Bonfim. But the one before that was to Benjamin Bennett, and he knocked him out with a knee in the 3rd round, which was picture perfect and beautiful. And that was must win. I think he was losing that fight. He was definitely down at least 1 round, and I think, in my opinion, he was down 2. So his back was against the wall, and he delivered. And you could say that about his 2 most recent victories, and I think that bodes well for him as a fighter. He's got some fucking traits. The one loss comes to Gabriel Bonfim, who after that choked out Mounir Lazzez in his UFC debut. So there's no shame in losing to him. But Bonfim was boxing him on the feet. Bonfim's a boxer, I think, first and foremost, and his boxing looked really good, even though he was giving up a lot of size to Trey Waters. And then once he got him to the ground, Trey Waters was hanging onto a guillotine, and he immediately got choked out with a Von Flue choke. Which, again, Bonfim is very fucking skilled and very dangerous. So it's a forgivable loss, but it does coincide with his 2 submission losses on his amateur record. He's got a record of 7-2, and both of those losses are by submission. So if you're forced to speculate, I'd say his biggest weakness is certainly the ground. He's susceptible to being submitted still, especially without having gained that much more experience. But on the flip side, he's 7-1 as a pro, finished 6 of those fights, and he's looked damn good doing so. And the guy's a big, tall problem for any striker. And Josh Quinlan, as I said, is a striker. This guy does not go for takedowns. And Josh Quinlan, he's been hurt. He's never really been, I don't know if he was like rocked or whatever, but the guy Dallas Jennings in the LFA had a lot of success in round two. Cracked him. I think had him a little wobbly and then swarmed on him against the cage and cracked him with a big overhand right. It was insane that Quinlan didn't go down. But Quinlan not only didn't go down, he kept himself composed. And he made it to round three, and then in round three, shortly thereafter, he got him out of there. So this is a very compelling matchup. And I'll be honest, I think there's definitely value on Trey Waters. But I'm staying away from this one overall. Staying away from it. If I was forced to give a prediction, I would go with Quinlan. But Waters, it's not like I think he's going to be in piss poor shape. He has taken this fight on very short notice, but he did just fight very recently. So a lot of different factors here. I'm generally staying away from this one, and I hope it's an awesome debut for Trey Waters because I liked watching his film. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.